Another monthly manufacturing report, and unfortunately still another dismal report for manufacturing. It is Tuesday, September the 3rd, and this is your Markets with Megan. We're going to talk about the ISM Manufacturing Report that was released this morning. It comes out usually the first or second day of every month, and it gives us the activity in the manufacturing sector for the prior month. And what we saw is that in August, it again was another report where we're in contraction territory in manufacturing. This confirms some of the reports we got in the regional surveys, which were really weak. And it has translated into the broader ISM manufacturing report. Now, this report comes with a lot of different underlying factors for the economy and some of the things that we like to look at, not only for GDP, but also for inflation. So let's dig right into it. Basically, every factor in this report, or every sector that's looked at, except for supplier delivery times, inventories, and prices paid, are all deeply in contraction territory. The index itself has been in contraction territory, which is a level below 50 for 21 out of the past 22 months. When you look at the production component, this tends to have a big correlation with GDP. That actually just reached the lowest level since the pandemic, since May of 2020. So not a good indicator here for third quarter GDP. And when you look at inventories, this did rise, but you also have to keep in mind that even though inventories rose, what tends to happen if inventories are rising and the economy is weakening, that'll give back in the future months, where inventories, they'll actually try and deplete those inventories. This is the highest level of inventories we've seen since January of 2023. Now, when you also look at things like the prices paid, and this does not get enough attention in our mind, prices paid jumped. So this is the number this is the prices that manufacturers are having to pay in order to make these goods. Now, is it going to translate into CPI or other inflation indicators? If it does not, that means that businesses are no longer able to pass on prices. So this is bad for margins from the corporate standpoint. So we're watching this closely. We think the Fed probably is watching this very closely as well. Now, it's a big week for economic data. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll give you a review of the month of August from an economic and asset class perspective, but we will be getting the sister report to the ISM manufacturing today. We'll get that on Thursday. That's the ISM services, and this is where we spend the most of our money from an economy, is in the service sector. So we'll be watching that closely. And then we'll round out the end of this week with this much anticipated employment report, which will have big ramifications on what the Fed ends up doing at their September meeting. That's all we have today. If you like this podcast, please hit the hit the alarm bell. And if you'd like a broader history of our podcast, you can find that at marketswithmegan.fm. Thank you.